Yeah, I was in my study 2 days ago, working away, and the phone rang, unknown caller, and I picked it up, and it was the White House operator. And she just goes, she confirmed it was me, and hold the line for the President of the United States. And Trump comes on, and the first thing he said to me was, "Hey, Dinesh, I'm sitting here with John Kelly, Chief of Staff, and we both want to let you know that we think that you're a great voice for freedom and for America." And he said, "I got to tell you, man to man, that your case, you got screwed." He goes, "You should have gotten it. It was a technicality. You should have gotten a fine and move on with life. But no, these guys went after you with everything they got." And he goes, "It was a terrible injustice." He goes, "The good thing is, I'm in a position to correct it. So I want to clear your slate. I'm going to give you a full pardon tomorrow morning, and I want you to go out there and just do what you're doing at an even bigger scale than ever."
Make no mistake, we're all living in one of the most important times in human history as populist and nationalist pro-free market forces reawaken and ignite in our darkest hour and see success everywhere. And we wouldn't be here today if it wasn't for Denish D'Sousa, the second highest grossing documentary filmmaker in history, best-selling author, and for that falsely imprisoned, as the president has pointed out, announcing his pardon yesterday for a 9-month false prison sentence for getting 5 friends to donate Hillary, again, billions of dollars, hundreds of millions in laundered money at her foundation. Unbelievable. Denish D'Sousa, a few, $30,000 or something, not even illegal from my view, didn't fill out paperwork. Well, now he joins us for this segment. We really appreciate him coming on to talk about how he heard about it, what's going on, and has he talked to the president yet, and what does he make of CNN and others calling it dangerous? Mark Rich is a cocaine dealer. All these other money launderers, sex traffickers get pardoned, but oh, you bad, bad man, a political prisoner of the left, 9 months in prison because they were scared of your next film. Thank you for joining us, sir.
Hey, it's a pleasure. I think, Alex, that when we hear words like dangerous from CNN, we have to learn to decode or translate what they actually mean. So what they mean is that Mark Rich, no matter whether he's an arms dealer or a drug trafficker, he's not dangerous to them. In fact, he's on their side in the sense that he is willing to lavish billions of dollars, not billions, but tens of millions of dollars into progressive and left-wing causes. I actually am dangerous to them. Why? Because I'm actually out there undermining their ideology at every turn. And so to pardon me is to unleash me in an even bigger way. So when I hear these kinds of things from CNN, far from trying to refute them, I essentially look behind the curtain and I go, I know why you're saying that, and in a certain sense, you're right.
Incredible. And, of course, the word is that the president told you that he wants to unleash you. Can you talk about that?
Yeah, I was in my study 2 days ago, working away, and the phone rang, unknown caller, and I picked it up, and it was the White House operator. And she just goes, she confirmed it was me, and hold the line for the President of the United States. And Trump comes on, and the first thing he said to me was, "Hey, Dinesh, I'm sitting here with John Kelly, Chief of Staff, and we both want to let you know that we think that you're a great voice for freedom and for America." And he said, "I got to tell you, man to man, that your case, you got screwed." He goes, "You should have gotten it. It was a technicality. You should have gotten a fine and move on with life. But no, these guys went after you with everything they got." And he goes, "It was a terrible injustice." He goes, "The good thing is, I'm in a position to correct it. So I want to clear your slate. I'm going to give you a full pardon tomorrow morning, and I want you to go out there and just do what you're doing at an even bigger scale than ever."
And boy, that's going to upset the Young Turks and others who would, in debates with you, defend Hillary and all her crimes, but say you're a criminal and have the audience hiss at you. These people are incredible. In the way they're trying to persecute people and destroy people that they intellectually can't fight. Of course, you had your big film coming out for 2016. They wanted to stop you putting it out, so they put you in prison and bragged about it. That is just frightening how authoritarian they really are.
Well, Well, what's happened is that the left in America is using the judicial system to, what you may call it, create the American version of the show trial. Now, of course, in the Stalinist show trials, they literally would torture people, pull out their fingernails, and this kind of thing. The American version doesn't look like that. The American version is something like this. Hey, Dinesh, we're going to charge you with exceeding the campaign finance law, but just in case you're thinking of pleading not guilty, we have an ace up our sleeve. We're ready to drop on you a second charge. Not that you did anything different or wrong. We're not claiming you had made a second offense. We're going to re-describe your offense in another way. So we're now going to say you filed a false document, and that happens to carry a penalty of 5 years in federal prison. So how would you like to take a chance to completely ruin your life? Well, if you don't want to do that, why don't you plead guilty to the first charge, and we will drop the second charge? So this is the game they play. They use the plea bargain system to bludgeon me into making a, quote, voluntary confession. And then people like my prosecutor, Preet Bharara, yesterday he was on Twitter, he goes, let's just be clear about this. Denish D'Sousa voluntarily pleaded guilty. So this is their game. They essentially extract a confession out of you with a threat to do even more.
And they go, oh, look, he admits he did it. He's so evil.
He admits he did it. Exactly. So they then put on the robe and played with false neutrality and act as if this is something that I just fessed up to, as opposed to the fact that they had me over a barrel. And the thing to remember about this kind of bludgeon, this plea bargain bludgeon, is it tends to pressure not just the guilty, but even the innocent.
Of course it does. In the limited time we have, hopefully you'll come on for 30 minutes or a full hour in the near future, but I know you're really the man of the hour right now as you're being kind of released like the Kraken, out of your a political no man's land, thank God. Of course, you got a new film, new book coming out. They never shackled you completely, but you are now absolutely being magnified. I'm so excited that Trump sees that as he's like releasing a great intellectual mind against the enemy. This is a war. Anything else Trump told you? What'd you say to him? I mean, if someone was private, that's fine. But that's what Trump's told me before. He said, "We need you in there fighting hard. Press the attack. Keep it up. Just we're going to make America great again." And then to see how the president's turning the country around now and how it's just panicking these people. They're pulling their hair out, Dinesh.
I think the broader issue here, Alex, that Trump is well aware of is what you can call the gangsterization of politics that has occurred under Obama and Hillary. Now, this was not the way American politics used to be. So I can't really imagine Jimmy Carter, he was an ideological nincompoop. He had his own problems. But I don't see him, trying to lock up his political opponents any more than, say, George H.W. Bush would dream of locking up Michael Moore. It was a different era. But with Obama, we got this sort of Alinskyite idea that, look, let's just use the IRS against him. Let's just weaponize the Justice Department and the FBI. Let's secretly tape them. Let's put a spy in the campaign. So you can see here how my case, in a sense, is a miniature of some of this larger problem of the gangsterism.
And that's where we were going next in the few minutes we have left. It is incredible. Now the Wall Street Journal, now the Washington Post, they're all reporting that they are looking at indictments of McCabe for lying, for illegally leaking, for all of this, and that leads back to Comey. I've heard, and I want to know if you've heard, that they are seriously going for the jugular now, not because we're being political gangsters, but because these gangsters have gone too far and have to be dealt with. They're too dangerous to not prosecute.
Well, let me give you, a small glimpse of my own dealing with the Comey FBI. So they created a file on me, and the Congressional Oversight Committee wanted to get the file. But the FBI kept saying, we can't give it because it has the names of confidential informants. It'll inhibit our ability to do our work. National security is at stake. The case is still pending. All lies. And when you get the file, and if they finally got a redacted version of it, but then then when you look in the file, you see the reason why they were so reluctant to cough it up. And the answer is right in the file. It says, Denish D'Sousa is a right-wing provocateur who made a movie critical of the Obama administration. In other words, my political bona fides are in the file. And the FBI highlighted that to signal to the Holder Justice Department, hey, here's a political enemy. You may want to go after this guy. So this is the dirty stuff that they do.
Exactly. Well, even MSNBC, when they were persecuting tens of thousands of Christians, where the IRS said, well, of course we are. You're racist. They just dehumanize us like the Nazis did. They persecute us. But I think the worm's turning. And do you agree, though, that we can't take the, not take the gloves off now? We have to go after them because they've actually committed the crimes.
Yes, I think, we don't want to become like them. I don't think you necessarily have to fight gangsterism by becoming a gangster. But on the other hand, you do have to fight gangsterism by becoming tough. And you do have to enforce the law.
That's right. Denish D'Sousa, amazing.